Hi, this is Angel Jones. I love great conversations where life's journey is communicated not only through words, but tones and emotions. Explosive expressions that allow you to feel what they felt and learned. A fool learns only from his own mistake, while the wise learn from their own and from those others have made. Thanks for being here with us. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Tom. How are you today?
I am wonderful, Engel. I am thrilled to talk with you.
It is a great pleasure to have you on today, Tom. I'd like to introduce Tom Schwab. Tom has built his business from being a regional player to a national leader in under 3 years with no marketing or sales department. Tom is a digital marketing engineer. He helps solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and small business owners harness the power of the internet with a clear, actionable plan so they can quickly grow a profitable business. Tom, how are you today?
I am doing wonderful, Engel, although I'm very jealous. I'm here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and the snow and the cold, and I know you're in paradise.
Yes, it is actually snowing sunshine here right now. So, Tom, let's get going. What talent do you have that you believe is responsible for you being on this podcast today?
I think it's being able to connect the dots. I started out as an engineer, so I see everything as a problem to be solved and a system to be built. And throughout my life, I've looked at that. So I've always been able to look for other resources to put together to build an engine that will solve the problem.
And who did you learn this skill from?
I think it was growing up. I was originally trained as an engineer at the United States Naval Academy. My undergraduate is in mechanical engineering. And I always say that my first job out of college was running nuclear power plants in the Navy. And I've run a nuclear power plant and I've run a small business. And one of them was easy because it came with an instruction manual. Small business, there's no instruction manual. So that's one of the things that I've always tried to do for my business. And now as I help other people in their business, to put some process and some structure around that to make it a system that works.
And why would you continue repeating this?
Because it works. And to me, you need a system that works and produces consistent results. I believe that 99.9 maybe percent of the world wants to do a good job. People want to do a good job. And when things fail or don't work out, it's usually not because of the person. It's because of the training, the system they have. So instead of just trying to find the magic person to run the system, why don't we always tune up the engine and the system so that other people can run it? And I think if you look at scalable companies and really great companies, that's what they do. I mean, they have great people, but they have great people running great systems.
Yeah. So, Tom, tell me, what is one thing you've done consistently over the past 3 years?
Learn. I'm always amazed at, I think the older you get and the more you learn, you realize the less you know. And one of my favorite quotes, Engel, we've talked about this before, is the idea of cross-pollination. Even the smartest man in the world or woman only knows such a small fraction of the knowledge that's out there. And the easiest way to learn is from other people, be it in books, be it in conferences, podcasts like this. And so I've always said, what's ordinary to you is amazing to me. So with that, asking questions and always trying to learn, because every time I learn a new piece to it, it's something that I can do better myself.
And what is the feeling? I mean, I'm getting that this really turns you on, but what is the feeling you would put together that goes with this?
Awe, astonishment, wonder. I think as a kids, we're always amazed when we learn something new. I've got a granddaughter now that's almost 2, and I remember the first time when she was a baby and she realized she had a hand. She just moved it around in her face and just was amazed that she had fingers. And I think as we get older, we sort of get jaded, and we're not amazed by the new things we learn. And that I think that it's fun. It's energizing. I wake up every morning excited by what the day is going to bring. And maybe it's immaturity or a childlike characteristic, but I never want to get old and stop learning.
And why would you suggest that someone else adopts such a habit?
Because if you don't, you're either growing or you're dying. And there's so much out there to learn. I mean, if you were ignorant, you are ignorant by choice. In the developed world, right? Because you've got access to information, to resources that didn't exist 20 years ago, and that the richest companies, the richest people in the world couldn't have accessed 10 years ago. My daughter is taking some classes online from professors. I think one's from Stanford and one's from MIT. And she's in high school. She's taking them for free. Now, granted, she doesn't get college credit for it, but she gets to access that knowledge. And if you're not doing that, if you're not accessing that information, it's by choice.
Yeah. Wow. Tom, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is falling down a flight of stairs. I was about 2 years old and was running. I slipped. My mom had just waxed the floors, and I can still remember falling down the stairs and cracking my head open. Don't remember anything else after that, but I think maybe that explains a lot of the rest of the stuff in my life, that my earliest memory was falling down and cracking my head open.
Oh, so why do you think that memory is so clear?
I think it's a combination of one, that it was like sort of the first traumatic event of my life. And I think the other thing is that we moved from that house shortly after. And so it was like the only memory I had of that house. And I think the other thing is that my parents always told that story when I was little. So it reinforced that memory, I think, in my mind.
Okay, great. Okay, this next section, Tom, is where your answers are yes or no. It's the toughest part, right?
All right.
Here we go. Have you chosen someone to teach your skills or talents to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Your favorite song when you were 12 years old?
This is the most embarrassing question I have ever been asked on a podcast. After doing over 150 podcasts, I've got to say it was Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Yes, disco was big when I was in 7th grade.
Sweet. Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Excuse me?
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Very much so.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a week?
No.
In closing, Tom, is there anything you would like to share?
I would just say that you can access so many people in this world, and I'm a big, big fan of podcasting. I help small businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs go from being obscure to acclaimed by being a podcast guest. I mean, I can only imagine all the great people that Engel meets as a podcast host, but I would also encourage anybody to listen to this. Think about being a podcast guest. You have something to share with the world. And if you'd like to learn more about how I did it or how I help other people, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I am the only Tom Schwab in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Wonderful. Tom, it was a great pleasure having you today.
Thank you, Engel. Next time we got to do it live in your hometown.
Sweet.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.